Welcome everybody to Life on Track. It's all about helping you get into the driver's seat of your own life, not my life, not Maris's life or Ken's life. It's my guest for today. It's your own life. And this, as you know, this show is based on the principles in my book, Work Love, which is all about bringing the culture of love into the world, specifically the workplace. It went #1 bestseller last year when it launched. I'm so excited about this book because it literally is what the world needed. You know, when the pandemic happened and everybody was isolated at home, working from home, they started to figure out, you started to figure out whether or not you enjoyed your job, and did you have a culture of love, at your place of business? So great book. And also the principles in this book, Think and Grow Rich, one of my favorite books that I studied in the 90s, a design to have a wonderful life in that book based on the 13 principles in that. And we'll talk about those principles in a little while with my guests when I bring them on. So when you guys know, I'm going to say it again for those of you that don't know, I have a huge event coming on October 24th. I can't believe it's almost here at the Westbury Manor. So it's a networking luncheon, but I have 4 keynote speakers and 2 charities. Mitzi Perdue, Frank Perdue's wife, is flying in. She's huge in the fight against human trafficking. Okay. And so proceeds are going to go to Mitzi and to Terry, she has the Michael Magro Foundation for Pediatric Cancer. It's going to be an amazing event. I'm so excited. And chicken franchise for lunch and dessert. So I hope you guys can get there. And the link for that is lifeontracksummit.com. That's lifeontracksummit.com. Go there, register today because it's filling up fast and I want to see you there. All right, let me bring my guests on. Here we go. Here we go. I'm so excited. Hey, guys. It's Ken Ashby and Maris Segal.
Hello.
Hi. So excited for this. And I want to read their bio because I don't want to leave anything out. All right. Ken Ashby and Maris Segal collaborate, coach, and consult with executives, entrepreneurs, celebrities, and rising leaders to identify and bring their professional, personal, and philanthropic vision to life. As America's master connectors, they combine their relationship marketing and mindset experience with the power of head and heart leadership to build meaningful connections and impact strategies that drive their clients' success. Together and individually, working across 40 countries, they have served a wide spectrum of local and global leaders, brands, and policymakers. From boardrooms and classrooms to Harvard, the White House, and Super Bowl halftimes, Ken and Maris are also known for uniting diverse populations with innovative cross-culture marketing and personal development programs that bring a creative voice to issues and causes. With Ken's expertise as an international award-winning singer-songwriter, they launched a songwriting workshop series designated to unleash creativity and productivity in individuals and teams. Ken and Maris have been featured authors in 10 leadership-centered books, with their solo book due out in 2023. Recently, they spoke on the TEDx Farmingdale stage in Long Island, New York. Welcome. I was there for that.
Hello. And you were. Thank you so much. It was
so
great to have you there.
I was there. I loved every single moment of it. You guys were amazing. Before we get into that, the first question that I ask every expert for years, I had a blog talk radio show back in 2013. I asked the questions then for years, is how did you get into doing what you're doing and why?
Wow. I mean, we got into doing what we're doing by just being present to what shows up, being present to the people around us. And we have always been a voice, helped our clients create a voice for what they wanted to communicate to the world and in any way that they wanted to communicate it. So it's just we've been honored. It's been so much fun, and it's not work for us. It's not work. It's a work we love. And it's not a job. Let me put it that way.
It's play. And I want to build on what Ken said. So as our clients have always asked us to support bringing voice, right, to their issues, their cause, their brand, their teams internally, especially, or if it's individuals who are working on their not-for-profits, et cetera, we've always sort of been those folks who have come to the table to create meaningful connection with themselves, with their clients in creating that voice. Right? Because we know that when we bring voice forward, it's to not only bring voice on the cause, but it's to create that connected voice to be able to create a movement and an impact. And that's really how we've come to it. And many years in many countries. And that's how we landed on where we are.
And had lots of fun all along the way. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And that's the key. People are not having fun these days. I always say, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And I mean it. We're here. For people listening, that's such a powerful point. If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, I really believe that you're not meant to do that. You want to find what it is that you really enjoy doing. And that's what we're on the planet to do.
Yeah.
Or there's another way to look at it. And one of the things we talk about is reframing. You reframe what you're doing and think about it in terms of what's the benefit for me, and stop and reframe it in a way that supports you being connected to it.
Right. Because there are some people that feel obligated to stay in a job or stay, where they are because they have a family to provide for. And that's beautiful. You're right. To be able to reframe it, it's just a little tweak in mindset, little shift, if you will.
Always. And honestly, I think the whole notion of shifting mindset is, I'm so grateful that the world is finally talking more about that.
Me too. Yeah.
Because it really absolutely changes everything. Perspective and choices change everything. It just does,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's two places that we all day, every day that we make decisions from, and it's either love or fear. So we're either making decisions from clarity or chaos, and for so many people, they choose, I think because it's the quote unquote norm to be in the grind and to be, like stressed out and to commiserate. Like that's more normal than to just walk around happy. Right? Don't you agree?
Yeah. Well, and look, I also think, our work is the R factor. So it's really about, relationships are a factor in every aspect of our lives, right? Personal, professional, and with the planet. So when you look at your life, it's not personal, professional, planet, all in different places. It's one integrated life. It's one life, right? So where we come from in living that life, whether from legacy or from choices, it all influences how we show up. That's the bottom line.
Right. And so what do you suggest people do to be able to improve their relationships and how they show up?
Well, we won't go into detail on everything, but there are 4 relationship rhythms. We call them rhythms. Of being a singer-songwriter since my teens, I understand the power of rhythms. And we sort of connected that every relationship has kind of a beat, a tempo, a rhythm to it, which you can know yourself. Sometimes you have relationships that are really smooth, like jazz, cool. And then there's driving relationships like rock or rap or something. And so managing the rhythms is part of the cycle of understanding your relationships. And the relationship rhythms are respect, responsibility, reframing, and resilience.
I love that. And rhythm is universal law. This world is literally tempo. Everything is happening in rhythm. Nature is in rhythm. Everything is in rhythm. The way we grow is in rhythm. Who we are is rhythm. Everything is rhythm with this world. Just like this. And a lot of people don't understand spiritual universal law. They only understand the physical, like gravity. Everything hits the ground. They don't know how, but everything hits the ground. But they don't understand law of attraction, law of reciprocity, law of cause and effect, law of rhythm. I love that you guys think about this. Go ahead.
Well, no, and it's interesting. I also think, look, here's the bottom line in the end, right? We are human first. And that's where the bottom line begins. That is what connects us, right? So when we start at that and we say, okay, we have all grown up from legacies from our past, our parents past, their parents before then. Every relationship we come to comes with a perspective from where we've come from. But we also have an opportunity to change that paradigm, to change that perspective. And I think the one thing that is not necessarily something that we're taught from our youth is that it starts with us first and how we treat ourselves first and the rhythm we are in with ourselves. Are we treating ourselves with respect? Are we communicating nicely to ourselves, or letting those tapes go in our heads that say you're not good enough, you can't do it, and listening to all the things people told us before? Are we being responsible and taking ourselves on and owning who we get to be in the world with gratitude, and starting and ending our day with gratitude? These are things that it's not necessarily new, but it's really framing it a little bit differently, because The rhythms in our lives is not something that happens to us. It's something we choose.
Yeah,
right?
I love this. I love this. And I love what you said about we get to.
Yeah.
I love we get to pay the mortgage. We get to pay the bill. We get to, it's amazing how, just like you said before, a little shift in perspective changes everything. And we are generational as humans. We do have generational everything that we carry into, we're born into this world a clean slate, but instantly our generational stuff starts to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you suggest people do? Because I love what you guys are saying about, being present, in gratitude. How do you suggest that people get into the rhythm that they need to be in how do you suggest they get into the present moment in gratitude so that they can be in rhythm?
One of the first places, and one of the things that we recognized early on when we started working on these mastering connection with rhythm, relationship rhythms, was this difference. And as you mentioned, get to is a change, but this word of being in relationship to something or being in relationship with something. There's a huge difference when you think about it. Sometimes we say, yeah, I'm speaking to him or her today. Well, when you're speaking to somebody, you're not really having a conversation. So when you're speaking with someone, it's really that simple. So looking at your life and looking at your relationships and saying, do I have a relationship to that thing, or am I really connected with it? Do I have a relationship with it? So once you sort of identify those, is a great place to start, and a simple thing that just change your perspective.
And especially, and I want to build on that too. I think especially, I keep going back to ourselves. What's so crazy, Erin, and one of the things I really love about Life on Track is that it keeps you in this forward movement, right? So I love the title of what you're doing, but here's the thing about why what you're doing is so important. Life on Track is all about being in relationship with your life on a track and people in it. So the only way to get there is by starting inside with ourselves first, because it's an inside out job. So the only way to be in relationship with someone, which offers an exchange,
or something,
right? Or something, including your car. Look, if you're in relationship to your car, you're going to pretty much have a car accident. There's no question. When you're in relationship with the car and the speed and the road, you're present. You cannot possibly be in relationship to someone or something and be present. The only way to be present is to be in relationship with, because that creates an energetic exchange that offers that possibility, right?
I love it. I love it. And thank you so much for what you said about Life on Track. I believe that. And it's about always going forward, and then we get to stay in our lane, but we also get to pick the lane. You know what I mean? Like we're in our lane, and then like tracks have different lanes that you could choose which one you want to go down.
Yeah.
But you know you're in the right lane when it feels good, when you're in rhythm, like what you're both talking about, when you're in rhythm.
Yeah, I think of Life on Track, and I think of, well, a train track, as a sort of basic thing, but can you hear the rhythm? You can hear the rhythm moving when you're on a track. So if you're not hearing the rhythm on the track you're on, maybe you're on the wrong track.
Mayhem.
Yeah. So yeah. But so I think the other thing you were asking is, so just briefly diving into the 4 connected relationship rhythms: respect, responsibility, reframing, and resilience. That number 1, just really on the top level, can you think of a relationship that you have that's solid, that you feel great about, that you don't have respect for? When you meet someone, when you're in touch with someone, and you're connected with someone, there's a respect there. So, and we also get to look at our relationships and say, what is it I respect about that person that maybe I took for granted, that I haven't thought about in a while? So respect is a great place to start in looking at your rhythm, relationships.
And meeting people, really connecting and meeting people where they are, right?
Yeah.
So often in this space, we don't. So often the immediate response is our reaction to what our experience is, which comes from somewhere back there before us. And so we're reacting to somebody who is standing in front of us from either a place of judgment or whatever the case is. So we always say to that, erase that. When somebody walks into our life, they may walk in, you might introduce us to someone. And so we have a grounding perspective on, great, Erin's introduced us to someone. Awesome. So that comes with a certain credibility, right? Because we know you, we trust you, we work with you, there's a great connect there. And so that when people come into a space, there's not always an immediate assumption of respect in meeting someone where they are. So even if we don't know the person, even if we're in a grocery store, we're at a baseball game, we're in a work environment with a colleague or a new boss, we walk in with that clean slate in a place of, I am they are me. We are human first, right? Yes. And so we come from that place. And I also think the other thing that's really important in terms of how we ground in these is, we touched on it earlier, it's the gratitude piece. It's really, we really encourage, as we're working with our corporate teams and, executives and even families. I mean, and even, we're working with groups who are looking at building their personal relationships. They keep looking and saying, okay, we want that. Like, how do you know what that is if you can't describe it and feel that way for yourself? So the first question we very often will ask is, what are you grateful for? Yeah. And we invite people to start their day and end their day with gratitude and grounding, because when your day gets bookended, right, and you start on the front end of, and it might mean I've got a crazy day coming up, I'm negotiating with someone, or I've got an interview, or someone's sick, whatever it is, the gratitude of knowing that you get to navigate through that and you will be good. You'll be good, whatever is important. And then at the end of the day, really coming back to the gratitude and saying, wow, what was my day like? What am I grateful for that I either accomplished today or that happened today, whatever the case is?
Yeah, and I think just to kind of put a button on that is we get to also have respect for ourselves, just like what you're doing with Life on Track, and particularly with bringing love into the world. Who is the person we get to love first before we love anybody else? We get to, that love is what comes out of us then, that embracing ourselves, giving ourselves a hug occasionally is a really good thing. Yeah, of course. Always.
I'm going right through the screen and hugging you both.
There you go. Thank you.
So it is so important. Go ahead.
No.
The self-love. I was in Clubhouse a while ago, like last year, and the room was filled and I spoke, and this other guy was responding to what I said. And then at the end of it, he said, well, Erin, we're our own worst enemy. And I went, what did he just say? I said, did you just say that? Like, he didn't just say that. And I said, we're not our own worst enemy, although the world, would have you believe that. And that is the quote unquote norm to say and to believe. But we're really our own best friend. We're our own biggest advocate. And self-talk is so important. Can you guys speak about how important it's so important, speaking into the gratitude so you can get more, you'll have more of it, and the power of that and the power of focus. Can you speak about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think our egoic minds want to control us and say, well, the last time you did this, it didn't turn out too well, so you're bad at that. Whereas the last time you did this, you learned something by not doing it well. So we get to shift that self-talk, to reframe the self-talk, to say, okay, well, I didn't finish that last time, I didn't do it, but that's good feedback. I get to take that now and grow with it. But every time we listen to those voices in our heads that are putting us down, it's all based on something from the past. It's not now. It's not today. It's not present. One of the speakers in the TEDx with us yesterday brought up a really interesting point, that every day our bodies are creating 380 billion new cells. 380 billion new cells. So every 100 days or so, we are a brand new person.
It's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah. So why should we sit in where we were 10 years ago and something because we are totally different.
Right. But that's that's a new conversation, Ken.
Yeah.
You know, like, and Maris, it's a new conversation. Most people are having the old conversation, you know,
Yeah.
and they haven't caught up to where we are, you know, you two, myself, and our friends. Most of the planet hasn't caught up to that, you know, and it's like this massive epiphany when you do, you know, and a much better world that you live in when you do have that epiphany. And I want to tap into the power of focus with regard to your 4 connected relationship rhythms. And focus is everything, because what we focus on expands. What we speak about, we bring about. And with focus in relation, right? And with focus in relationships, if you're focused on what the other person should do to change, or you focus on what they're doing wrong, and that's going to expand. It's going to become a big problem, you know, because you made it a problem. What are they doing wrong and everything else? So can you speak into how powerful focus is when it comes to the 4 connected relationship rhythms?
Well, I think, focus is important across the board. And I think
looks like we're out of focus. Are we in focus?
Yeah, we're
there you go. Now you're in.
Do we look out of focus here? Because we're seeing ourselves. It looks out of focus.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, I think, what's really important here when we talk about focus is very often, right, growing up, how many times did you hear from one of your parents, focus, because you were trying to get your homework done? Right. As my parents are standing over me with a pen and the mom going, focus. Yeah. So very often our perspective on focus comes with the past of, I can't focus. So often people will come to that conversation, I can't focus. What focus really is intention, right? What are you intending? What's your commitment to that? And being really present to it to see it through its completion. So very often, when we think of focus from our past, if we let go of that and look at it as a clean slate, we talked about it in respect. In terms of responsibility, what does focus look like? Focus looks like, first, me waking up in the morning in gratitude and saying, I'm here, I get to be in this day, and I am disciplined and intentional and committed to what I'm planning to do. And that allows a space of empowered action to see it through. Right. So focus is really intention, committed action, empowered to empower yourself to do it and be right where you are, and also to trust. I think so often we don't trust when we're looking at focus. We keep looking somewhere else versus trusting we are exactly where we're meant to be in that moment. And when we focus on where we're meant to be in that moment, and we stand in gratitude and we stand in grace and responsibility, and we can reframe it because the focus of where it is gets to be shifted, then we become resilient in it, right? We've all been through it. We become resilient in it. And so the ability, I think, to focus is not a bad word. It's about being present. It's about choosing to stand in what's possible and seeing it through with intention, commitment, and empowered action.
I love that. I want to get into the action. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah.
Just adding on that a little bit. So being a singer-songwriter and over the years, really thinking about focus. I never thought about it for a long time. And then I thought about what is that focus and that attention? And it really, as Maris was just saying, it is all about being in the present moment. Yeah. When you lose focus, you are back there or over there, and you're not in the present moment. Focus is nothing more than just being right here, being here. And when you are here, it's amazing how time stretches. Time expands when you are here, and you're not worried about the future or the past. You are in the moment. So focus is a really hot issue, and it's one that affects our relationships. It's all about, if I'm talking to you and I'm more concerned about what I'm going to say next, and I'm not listening to you, I'm not focused.
What'd you say?
I'm not.
What? But you're so right. You're so right. And when we're focused on good, positive, uplifting things, forward moving, forward thinking things, and we take the committed action, like you said, we're in a beautiful place. A lot of people are in the present moment and their focus is on negative things, and they don't understand why they're not creating what they want, and they believe everybody else is just lucky, and they're doomed to this terrible life, but they don't understand the power of that focus. What you do with that energy is everything. So
that's where the mind, that's right. That's where this mind piece is really critical. And, I think it's such an interesting time because yes, we spend a lot of time with people who are doing work and who are doing incredible work, but the people we're actually serving, right, who are our clients, are on that edge of recognition that one, I want a personal life, I don't have it. Two, I want better business deals in my teams. I mean, executives we're working with, teams, the culture of those environments. And so when the focus also, this is a great example, when the focus is on the dollar bottom line first versus the human bottom line, everything gets askew, including in our family, right? When we're in our family and we're focused on the negative because somebody did something to me or somebody upset me versus, okay, wait a minute. What if I have a minute to just breathe and reframe how that happened and where they might have been in that moment? A restaurant waiter, it goes all the way down. And so we always say, before you react, take a breath so that you can respond from a place of choice and that you refocus where you want your energy to be. Because focus really is a choice. It's so simple. Yeah. It really is a choice.
When we react, it has nothing to do with the present moment. Reactions come from the past, had nothing to do with exactly what you're going. When we respond, that comes from being in the present moment. You were mentioning about Deloitte's Human Capital Trends report recently. They ranked belonging and being in connection with someone as the top human capital issue that organizations are faced today with. So I think it's becoming more prevalent. It's becoming more recognized. And that's why we're so passionate about this, that we get to go through the evolution. We were speaking with someone today about just a change in how our parents spoke with us. My parents weren't heavy on the emotional side, but kids today are digging into that emotion, connection, relationship, being part of everything much more, I think. So that's just evolution. It wasn't that we were bad, it's just evolution. So now the evolution gets to be relationships. How important are they in every aspect?
And first of all, you two do amazing work, amazing work. You're so good at what you do and who you serve. They're blessed to have the two of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I was just thinking when you were speaking earlier, Maris, about four connected money relationships, when you said, it's not about the money, it's not about the net bottom line, it's about the human bottom line. And there's a whole show I can do with you guys about, the money relationships. Because everything's energy. It's all energy. Money is energy. It's just an exchange of energy. That's all it is. And it's I could do literally a whole show, but I think you guys would be fabulous with that also. Do a workshop.
And it's so funny you should say that, because our workshop series, we have a workshop series starting next week, but ultimately the detail of the workshops also that we get into down the road are, what is your relationship with money, time, business, your personal life? We go into all of that very deep dive for exactly why you just said it, because money and time are great examples. I can't even tell you how many people we've talked to on both money and time, people you would look at and think they're tremendously successful, they're millionaires. How is it possible they have issues with money and time?
Right, not enough.
Scarcity.
Fear, lack of scarcity, absolutely.
Yes, right? And so part of what we say is exactly what you say. It's like, look, we all grew up with money mindset.
Right.
It's part of our legacy. It just is. In my family, there was never enough. But I'll tell you something, we still looked dressed to the nines. We still had beautiful things. We still look great. So there was a conflict in how that, and I'm not gonna lie, I had some serious issues to work through as I was getting into my teens to really understand how to navigate money because of the mindset I had come from. And it was part of why we step into this space around what's your relationship with and to. because the minute you shift these rhythms, and you look at them and you say, okay, respect, responsibility, reframing, and resilience, and you look at the connection that they create and what it takes to master that, it's all about being in relationship with the energy, with the person, than anything else.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the bottom line.
Think about it this, you give money to me, or we share. You share money with me as I share my energy with you,
and the experience of it,
and the experience. So it's a sharing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's do that show for sure. Let's do that show.
Yes. Because I always said I lived in Brooklyn until I was 16, and that was middle class.
Really?
Moved to Garden City, which was very wealthy when I was a junior in high school, and so I've seen everything. Everything, and it all comes back to the individual. Like literally, the relationship that they had that person, from billionaires, literally billionaires with a B. So people that could barely pay the mortgage. There were really, really happy people that could barely pay the mortgage, and really miserable people that were billionaires because of the relationship with money. And a lot of times how we earn our money, like if we cut corners, or we're trying to get over and rip people off, the money exchange has negative energy tied to it. So people don't understand how things just keep happening to them that are not so good. It's because they're earning it with negative energy, where when you look to serve and overserve and just make sure that you're doing your best, then that's got a great energy tied to that money that you're receiving in that way. And people
that's really also about, respecting the money and really being in integrity with yourself first and then others. And then in the end, it's really, while it's an inside out job, it's really not about us. It's about other people and what that exchange is, so that's,
I love it. And I wanted to touch upon resilience because we're running out of time, and it goes so fast with you guys. And then I want to get into the offer that you have for you, everybody watching. I'm so excited for this. So resilience, really, really important. So I didn't want to bypass resilience.
Yeah. Well, look, I think that every relationship experiences challenges, traumas, dramas. We all have it. I mean, look, ours is, we've had issues financially. We've had issues with loss in family. We've had issues with, all kinds of things. And so, what's so interesting about resilience is that also, like all the other rhythms, how we handle it is really a choice, right? So when these things happen to us, and they will, when we stand up and step forward, because we know change is inevitable. And when we face it, the bottom line to all this is we face it. And when we face it and we navigate it courageously, right? So that's that trust of, okay, I know there's going to be something better on the other side. And equally important in resilience is asking for support. So when we stand up, step forward, and courageously face and walk through these issues, do it with asking for support and with consistent actions, then we come out on the other side and we're inspired and our relationships are renewed. But it takes really navigating it with support and doing it in a space of recognition that I don't have to do it all myself. Yeah. It's not a lone wolf job. Relationships by nature are nurturing. They are not a lone wolf business.
Yeah. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with the team. And we met through Eric Swanson through his Habitude Warrior Mastermind and Global Speakers Mastermind. And now you're part of the actual mastermind. Yeah. And we're co-authoring the book series together. And we have to talk about your TEDx. Oh my God, you were amazing. TEDx talk. We're extending this for a few more minutes because I want to make sure that everybody hears how fabulous these two were in regards to your TEDx talk. It was amazing to witness and a blessing. Tell us how that experience was.
Well, it was stretched. We were stretched, which is great. We stretched outside of our comfort zone. And when you do that, you're always something good happens for you.
Better and better.
We got stretched and we stepped into it and it was fun. It was so much fun. And it's just a powerful experience to be on the stage and share the stage with so many different ideas, great new ideas, so many elements that could lead us all to having a more connected existence, more connected life.
I think what was really interesting in really putting together this, this TED Talk, this TEDx talk, we have been very clear. We have been very clear, over the years as a couple, the power that we have between us, this connection, this rhythm. We've always been grateful for it. And every day we choose each other, right? And what was interesting when we were thinking about taking to the TEDx stage is we said, you know what is it that people really come to us for? And what does that look like? What would it look like if we could actually support people in creating these connected rhythmic relationships? Could one connected relationship at a time be healed and heal the planet? And so that was honestly, kind of what we set out to do was, and could we do that on TEDx? And so standing on that stage had a lot of weight. It felt really weighty. But also when we got to the point of making it not about us, but seeing ourselves as a vehicle of opportunity and making it about everybody else, my nerves went away.
I felt it because I know you both so well, and I felt your nerves go away, and you just got more relaxed, and you just got more into it because it became you serving the audience. Also, you lost the fear of this amazing accomplishment that you just stepped into, and it was. I'm telling you, it was so beautiful to witness.
Thank you.
I'm so happy I was there to
thank
be there.
you.
And it's also why this book series that we're in together has been really important for us because the book series based on Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. So each of the books navigates one of Napoleon Hill's riches, and so there's 13 of them. There'll be soon to be 10 out. But what has been interesting for us in that process, and to be in this book series with you and the other incredible authors, is that the reality is that none of us on this planet, none of us need to go at it alone.
No.
None of us. And what's incredible about that series is that it supports people in each of the themes that Napoleon Hill brought forward to recognize we are all human first and in this world together. And so, yes, we're resilient, we're breaking through, we're learning, and yes, we're stretching and we're better for it. Although in the moment we may not feel that way. But I think the power of recognition that this is a world and a space that we are not in alone. And if we're feeling it, so are about 1 million other people.
Or more.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah. It was extraordinary. It was so good. It was
Thank you.
So glad you were there. So glad to have your energy with us there.
Oh, it was really, really cool. Very cool to be there. I've never been to a TEDx before. It was my first one, and it was fabulous. It was fabulous.
Mine too.
Oh, there you go. And then you guys are going to be at the book signing, or possibly.
Yeah, we're looking forward.
Yeah, we're working on our schedule right now. We're mentoring a master leadership program, so we're working on both ending. So expanding our plate to be able to be there, and also to be at your amazing event. If we can stretch our schedule, we really don't want to miss it because it just. Love your energy. So proud of the work you've been doing, being able to bring it
and
forward.
And the menu sounds fabulous.
I know, right? It's so good. A lot of hors d'oeuvres in the first hour and then chicken brunch, dessert. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Hopefully you guys will be able to come. I'd love to have you there.
Thank you.
And the book signing for everybody watching, the book signing is October 21st from 3 to 5 in the Barnes & Noble at the Smith Haven Mall, my neck of the woods. And then that's on the 21st. And then we're going into Brooklyn for the second book signing. I'm not sure of the name of the place right now. I'll put it in the show notes. And then Monday is my event at the Westbury Manor. So let's talk about your offer for the listening and the watching for our audience.
Great. So we're actually so starting next Thursday, and for the three consecutive Thursdays after that, we will be hosting a Mastering Connection with Relationship Rhythms workshop. So we're doing 4 sessions, and each of the sessions will explore these 4 key rhythms, and we will work across one big life. We will work across personal, professional, and relationship with the planet. We'll also connect on what are your philanthropy perspectives. It's all these pieces that fit into our lives. And so the workshop will be Thursday, starting next Thursday. So October, I think it's the 20th. 27th, and November 3rd and 10th. And it'll be an hour and a half each night. And it's really connecting with a small group of people all around this experience. So I think we've done, I don't know, do you want us to talk about price? I don't know if that was important for you.
So I would just say we've given a very special rate to Life on Track. So you put that when you go to the website, Eventbrite, you put Life on Track as the promotion code, hit apply, and you'll get a beautiful special discount. And we just hope that we love to have more Life on Track people.
For sure.
Don't we all want to get our life on track?
Absolutely.
Who
Absolutely.
doesn't? Who doesn't? If you ask people in the room, who doesn't want to have their life on track? I bet nobody raises their hand, right?
Everybody raised their hand. And it's not even about staying, it's getting your life on track just means like even elevating. You could be on a great track. You could have your life on track in such a great way, but you can be on an even better track as you become so much more and expand and learn and grow. I'm always like, onward and upward, baby.
Yeah,
that's right. And I think, as we think about life on track and we think about mastering connection with relationship rhythms, it's all of that. It is all of that in all areas of our lives. And, our perspective in this and all the work we've done across, from heads of state and heads of households and across the board in our work, we know one thing for sure. It is absolutely time for relationships to move front and center on the global stage we call life, period.
I agree.
And it starts with us. It starts with each of us.
And that's a whole other show I could do with you also, with families.
I want to acknowledge you, Erin, for the work you're doing in bringing life on track and helping people, supporting people to focus on that, and the love that you're spreading. This is so powerful, and we're so happy to be in the community of people who are concerned with this, not for ourselves. You're not, it's not for yourself, but you are concerned because you believe in something, and the passion you have for it rings true, and we really recognize and honor you for that.
Oh, thank you, Ken and Maris. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me that you just said that. I appreciate you.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Thank you. And now people can get in touch with you. Go ahead.
So if you guys want to connect, we'd love to hear from you. So pop us an email. If you want to work with us, if you have an interest in having us speak, come and work with your teams, come and work with you individually.
So this is Segal.
Info@Segal.
Yes, right. I'm Leadership Global. So no.
Actually, that says info@Segal Leadership Group, but
wait, what?
Leadership Global. That one's correct. Right. SegalLeadershipGlobal.com.
Oh,
it's all good.
The other ones are not for profit. We're going to be working.
It's not perfect.
It's info@Segal Leadership Global. Okay.
.com. There you go.
Fantastic.
.com. All right. For everybody watching, just completely ignore the email that I put up there on the ticker tape. It's this one, info@Segal. And we went over everything before coming on here. And
we didn't catch it either. So it's
so crazy. But
I love it.
And it's real life. I said to Ken and Maris before getting on, I'm like, you know what? I pulled in on 2 wheels and we're going to get this done. But I love the two of you. I love what you guys are doing in this world. And I love that I get to play with the two of you, on this playground called life. It's so cool. And I thank Eric Swanson for being a massive connector, connector. And, and he nurtures our relationships. You know what I mean? Like when we're together, you feel like you're part of a family.
Yeah.
And I consider you guys, both of you, family. So
thank you. And I think it's an honor when we talk about being, America's master connectors. Our whole perspective on it is, what does it take every day to create a meaningful connection with someone in your life? And I think one of the things that we've been able to do in all this work together has been that, you create these connections, and to your point, and they get nurtured, right? So doors open. But a lot of doors open. So unless we choose to take the step to walk through it and get in connection with ourselves in that, then we'll be out of rhythm. And we just had a moment of being out of sync and out of rhythm when we all fixed it, right? You recognize it, you own it, recognize it. Okay, got it. Fixed.
Move on.
But the first thing is recognition.
Yes.
Right? We get to be aware.
Yeah.
There is no such thing as perfect.
Right.
Period.
Right. And once you figure that out, and once you stop striving for perfection, then life gets to be fun, because it's progress. It's always progress. You strive for the progress because you want to learn and grow, but perfection, you'll have anxiety for the rest of your life if you're striving for perfection for the future. Right.
I might have been a recovering perfectionist. Ken, not so loud.
But now you're not anymore. And then, like I said, life gets to be fun.
Yeah.
You know, life, I'm sure, was not so fun when you were, you know, during those days as a perfectionist. It's
Right.
very
it was tremendously
Painful.
successful, but it was also painful and constantly being in that anxious space of this is great, but versus
Right.
being in recognition of this is great, right? I was constantly allowing the but to fall to the floor. Like, what? That's ridiculous, because then I wasn't present.
right.
Right. So my focus was on what if versus what is. And
Right.
that's the big difference. That's the big difference.
And then you go from success to significance, like our friend Dan Clark says.
Right.
You know, you
Exactly.
go from success to
Love it.
significance.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's a huge leap, what you guys are. So I love you both, really. Thank you so
Me
much for
too.
coming on to
Thank you.
this Life on Track TV today with us.
Thank
So
you for
appreciate
including
you both. You're amazing. And everybody go, you know, check out their offer. Don't walk, run. It's really, really cool. Run to the offer and message them at info@segalleadershipglobal.com. And thank you again so much for being here, both of you.
Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you.
Our
Thank you.
honor, Erin. We love you. We're so proud of all that you're doing and thrilled to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And this show is going to go out on Apple TV and Roku and Amazon Prime, all the big platforms, as well as all my social media and my new YouTube channel, which is Erin Lay - Life on Track. So hit subscribe with that. And or it's Life on Track, Erin Lay. It's going to be on the show notes. So make sure that you hit subscribe when you go there. It's really, really cool. There's a whole bunch of other interviews about getting life on track there as well. So, and don't forget to go to www.lifeontracksummit.com and register for that. We want to see you there, and have a magnificent day. Have a magnificent day, everybody. And always remember to live onward and upward. Love you.